This segment of UB Football Insider with Lance Leipold is brought to you by CEFCU. For all your banking, insurance, and investment needs, visit your local branch or go to cefcu.com.
Welcome back to UB Football Insider with Lance Leipold. My name is Paul Peck. We're at the Stern Nightclub at the Seneca Niagara Resort, getting you ready for the season opener against Albany, which is in just 6 days. It's time for our CEFCU player profile, and we spotlight running back Jordan Johnson. Just across the street at Sweet Home High School, he was an outstanding all-Western New York player. Seems fitting that a guy who can walk to campus will make his name as a runner. Last year, in just 3 starts, over 800 yards rushing and 12 touchdowns. Well, this year, he is the #1 running back, and he's expecting big things.
I'm Jordan Johnson, senior running back on the UB football team. I started playing football when I was 6 years old. My brother played when he was 9, and we're 3 years apart. I looked up to him growing up my whole life, playing football and everything. So competing against him ever since we started Little League to playing Pop Warner to middle school to high school, and then now that I'm in college, I always looked at him as my motivation, as somebody to compete against. I think my brother was one of the best football players that I seen play football. He just happened to run into some trouble his last year of high school. But when he ran into trouble, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna just play for him and just see how far I can go with it. When I was in high school, I played quarterback. Throughout my whole high school career, I was 33-2. I was on the state championship team as a sophomore. I think all those coaches, John Fowler and then the rest of his staff, I went from a boy to a man at a very young age. Having to grow up on my own because I didn't have that father figure in my life. But what he did as a coach, made me a better player. When I first got here, everybody knew who Brandon Oliver was. He didn't really speak a lot, but his leadership was done on the practice field. The way he worked, the way he practiced, the way he played, even the way he worked out. It was 110% every time. You see that in how he reflect and how he do things on a daily basis. That gives you a sense of motivation, like, hey, if he could do it like this, and I should do it like this as well.
Jordan Johnson gets the direct snap. He will run it to the left, bottled up. He cuts outside, now cuts upfield at the 40. At the 30, there he goes. Jordan Johnson, bullseye for the Buffalo touchdown.
I was patient, and I just broke a seam. Marcus McGill had a great block on one of the corners, and you just see Joe just running behind me on the screen, and I think that was a great play. It was weird. I was able to be a quarterback again, not really throwing the ball, but I was able to run the ball.
I think he's in the best shape he's ever been in. He's worked awfully hard to get to this point. Really excited about the opportunity he has to be our starting running back, and I think he's earned that opportunity. He showed us some signs of what he could do, and I think he'll be a big impact in our league.
I think my main goal is to help my team win as many games as possible. I want to leave college a winner. My main goal this season is to win a MAC championship and not only make a bowl game, but win a bowl game as well. And all the individual awards and accolades and statistics, those will come with themselves after you get wins, but wins is more important to me.
Well, Lance, Western New York football fans have had a chance to see Jordan since he was an absolute star at Sweet Home High School. As a quarterback, he certainly has made that transition to running back now, and we saw signs of that last year. What do you see differently from him as he goes in as the unquestioned #1 guy?
Well, I think the biggest thing, Paul, that I've seen him is he's like a man on a mission. He's around studying tape. He's watching some of the former players that played at UB and pro film, different things that Matt Simon may have, and just his time in the weight room and all those things, that he knows that this is the last go-around for him as a senior in this program, and I know he wants to have a great season.
Yeah, and there's an ever-growing tradition at UB now, as sort of a place that turns out really good running backs, from James Starks of the Green Bay Packers to Brandon Oliver of the San Diego Chargers. I wonder if that's a little bit of an inspiration for Jordan as he walks by the pictures of those guys every day.
Absolutely. I know those guys are always talked about within the running back meetings. Matt Simon spent time coaching in the NFL, has a Super Bowl ring. I think he has done an excellent job of, tutoring Jordan to the point of what it takes, not just in, it's the little things sometimes that'll be the difference, and for him to be the best that he can be.
All right, well, no running back can do it by himself. He needs the help of the offensive line. That's been a bit of a transition position for you this year, with really only center James O'Hagan and Brandon Matasalvas at guard as kind of established starters coming back. Give us a sense of who's filling in those other spots and where you feel like you're at with your offensive line.
Well, right now we're kind of still working in a few spots, but I think Rubens Joseph, who played a lot at the end of the year last year, moved from guard over to left tackle. And the other one, Paul, that's really had a great summer and is really coming into his own is Tyler O'Henley on the right side. Now, we're using Tyler at guard and at tackle. So, between him and David Goldsby and Tomas is going to be the other one at the guard. So I don't know yet. The thing that's nice for us at this time, Paul, is the depth that we have. Finding those starting five and maybe a couple more to rotate in is going to be what we're going to find here through really the month of September.
So it could go 7 or 8 deep. That starting five that people will see in 6 days against Albany might not be the only five you'll see. Is that the sense I'm getting?
Yes, we want to try to find whether it be 6 to 7 for sure. And as the season progresses, I think we're going to have 8 to 9 they're going to be able to rotate.
Yeah, and I would assume because last year you went through some injuries at that position, it's obviously one of the hardest positions to play. Having some depth, is that maybe you'd love to have 5 definitive starters, but is having some depth almost just as good?
Absolutely. I think that's one of the things we're striving for in the program as a whole. We want depth across the board because, as we know, unfortunately, injuries are part of the game. Things happen. And really, I think the teams that have the outstanding years or have a chance to play a bowl game are the ones where their injuries occur, they have some depth.
All right, that's the latest on both Jordan Johnson and the offensive line. Coach, thank you very much. Always good to catch up with you. Much more to come from you in the ensuing weeks as the season gets started in just 6 days as Lance's Bulls take on Albany at UB Stadium on Friday, September 2nd. Coming up on UB Football Insider, a mic'd up segment with defensive coordinator Brian Borland.
Buffalo sports fans, don't miss the season opener for UB football. Friday, September 2nd, when the Bulls take on the Great Danes of Albany at 7 p.m. Stampede Square opens at 4 p.m., featuring fun family entertainment and country music star Jared Neiman on the Tailgate Concert Series stage. For tickets and more information, call 877-UB-THERE or visit UBBulls.com. It's football, tailgating, and live music, so make sure to be counted and get your tickets today.
Let's go Bulls!